Fernando Diniz versus Pep Guardiola. One of the most anticipated clashes between coaches could indeed happen. The champions of the Libertadores and the Champions League face to face. And check this out, Fernando Diniz has already spoken out about the Spanish coach. Do you want to know what he said? Check it out in today's episode of Football Clippings. But before we start, I have just one request. If you enjoy the video, remember to hit the like button, okay? Two brilliant minds, somewhat crazy, but capable of revolutionizing football. Fernando Diniz and Guardiola are two coaches who like to think outside the box. But it's more than that. They are two lovers of beautiful football. And it is in this last point that the excitement of the fans lies in a possible duel between Guardiola and Fernando Diniz in the FIFA Club World Cup. For many, it would be the meeting of the master, in the case of Pep Guardiola and his pupil, Fernando Diniz. That's right. Many football analysts and fans believe that Guardiola and Fernando Diniz adopt the same style of play. And yes, the Brazilian coach has already admitted to drawing inspiration from the Manchester City manager. My game in itself is very inspired by Guardiola, in the sense of wanting to impose the game, dominate, have fun. I think we understand football in a similar way, possibly, commented the Brazilian coach. However, the similarities between Diniz and Guardiola end there, okay? And it was the Brazilian coach himself who said so. An admirer of the Spanish coach, Fernando Diniz one day decided to watch a Guardiola match live, and in the end, was disappointed. The Spanish coach's style of play was the opposite of what he believed. While Guardiola likes positional play, with players strictly respecting their positions, Fernando Diniz is one of the pioneers of appositional or anti-positional football. That's what the Brazilian coach explains. In Guardiola's style, players respect their positions a lot, and the ball goes into the empty space. They obey a certain space to stay and move within it. In my case, players can migrate more between positions, the field becomes more open, and the game becomes more free. In one, the game is more confined within positions, and in the other, more liberated, evaluated Diniz. And someone else who commented on the similarities between Diniz and Guardiola was goalkeeper EDERSON. Commanded by the Spanish coach at Manchester City and by Diniz in the Brazilian national team, the goalkeeper admitted that both have some similar game concepts, but like Diniz, he saw an important difference in the playing style demanded by the coaches. It's the same line of thought. The work in the national team is very focused on small-sided games, and it's the same at City. At Manchester City, I was very involved in footwork drills, and that also happens in the Brazilian national team. Ball possession is what is closest in Diniz's and Guardiola's game. The structures are different. Here, with Diniz, the players are much more mobile than at Manchester City, acknowledged EDERSON. Given the success achieved by Fernando Diniz at Fluminense, and the fact that he was elevated to the position of coach of the Brazilian national team, the natural progression was for this discussion to reach Guardiola, right? However, that's not what happened. While newspapers around the world praised the football played by Fernando Diniz's Fluminense in the unprecedented Libertadores title, Pep Guardiola was completely unaware of what was happening in South American football. Asked if he had watched the Libertadores final, the coach responded with total disinterest and said that he hadn't seen anything from the game, not even the goals. The truth is that not even the beautiful football presented by Fernando Diniz's team piqued Pep Guardiola's curiosity. Luckily, Fernando Diniz even said that his biggest reference as a coach is not the Spanish coach, but rather Diego Simeone, the coach of Atletico de Madrid, who was a rival of Pep for several years in Spanish football. And what we hope for this time is that Guardiola's new rival now will be Fernando Diniz in the Club World Cup final. Perhaps by then, the Spanish coach will seek to learn a bit more about the Brazilian coach. But if that doesn't happen, maybe it's even better. Perhaps in that long-awaited encounter against Manchester City, Fernando Diniz will showcase all his qualities and show the Spanish coach that there is indeed good football beyond the confines of European football. That's what the whole world wants to see. Do you think Diniz can beat Guardiola? Do you agree that they have different playing styles? Comment below, subscribe to Football Clippings, and find out why towels were banned from the Premier League. The video is on the screen. Check it out. You won't regret it. See you in the next video.